It is
Aloha.
live. Second cup of coffee. I'm Jason.
I'm Peely.
We have a dynamic show for you today.
We do. It's going to be the best show to date.
Best show today.
Best show to date.
Good. I agree. So Peely's already talking. She's running 100 miles this month. So there's lots going on behind the scenes here as we get ready. But we are here with you today and excited to be here with you today. So why wait any longer? All right, so we are here at Second Cup of Coffee, and yeah, I like it. I like the new setup here.
Yes, I do too. So much more room.
More room.
Yes, more room. This is the second biggest room in the house. So yay for us.
Good. Good.
Lots
and the kids, because they all want to be in one room, actually just gives us bedrooms. We are
bedrooms galore.
Yeah, we're oversupplied with bedrooms right now. We are oversupplied with kids right now, and bulldogs. We're that part, but they are all being quiet.
Being quiet.
And they were quiet before. I think we've been running them rampant. We let them run wild in the park last night. That was probably a good move because they were asleep at a really nice time.
Yes, they were.
I saw Peely without kids running, screaming, yelling.
At 8:30.
And I was
asleep by 8:30.
Massively confused like it was midnight. It was 8:30.
Yeah, I figured
Sometimes that happened, right? So that was it. You figured it out. I love it.
So, okay, the key is, and this works, bring them upstairs earlier if you want them to go to bed earlier. So I started bringing them up at 6:30, 6 o'clock, between there. And we ran them before that, and we had soccer and we had karate. And so we got to do books, we got to do songs, we got to do sleep stories. And they had their bath time, and they went down, and they were all asleep before 8:30. All of them. So happy.
And it's been a productive day. We got up early, got up in the 4 a.m. hour as we like to. Got a run in the rain, which is beautiful and really sets the day. I've been using my standing desk today, which I forget to use, but then I've been using it all morning. We haven't quite figured out the video setup, but we'll work on that. But regardless, we got 4 business ideas that have failed today.
Or not failed, but we did not start them. So technically they failed.
Sure. I'm going to say failed because we didn't take the action regardless of the idea.
Yes.
Right? So we can start that off in a lot of ways, but sometimes the best thing to do, right? So the Warren Buffett 5-25 rule is that he says, write down 25 things you want to do, then determine what are the top 5, put them in order, take those top 5 and cross off everything else and remove everything from your mind until you complete those top 5.
Yes.
And that's his way of just making sure that he's really focusing and honing in, because everybody has great ideas. Everybody has something they want to do. Everybody has a direction they want to go. But so many times we get nothing done, right? Because we're at a stop start. There's all these things to do, so we do nothing, right? Because that's easier. And we leave that untapped potential that we have hidden untapped, right? And we don't tap into it.
Because we're not focusing in all of our energies, all of our strengths, all of our everything into the one thing that we want to get done. So right now, if you haven't been following us, Jason and I are multifamily syndicators. We're actually pretty darn good at what we do. We also have platforms. We're launching a platform called the Fit Rich Life, and that's going to be amazing. So that's growing out of our experience, our life experience, and our real estate experience.
Yeah, and it's been an exciting weekend. As we've been growing, we've been building our team, changing our team, and working it through to making sure that we're doing things right. Because sometimes, even though we know the lesson, we still find a way to not do what we know to do. And so we have to take onus on that. It's nobody else's fault. We did not do what needed to be done with that lesson, building the team correctly, setting the right protocol, setting the right standards. And there's no one to look at but myself and Peely. And so for that fact, it's constantly readjusting, looking at what we're doing. And it's just because it worked yesterday, you have to be looking at it today and making sure it's still fitting in the process. But you also need to give it time to breathe. And sometimes the ideas that we want to do, we never give them the time to breathe, right? They sit there untapped because we won't even give them a chance.
And so even though we're talking about 4 businesses that failed, these are learning lessons. We have so much negative connotation on the word fail. This is not meant to be negative. This is meant to be a lesson learned. And this is part of mine and Jason's pasts that we have grown out of and grown from. So why don't we jump into it?
Perfect.
So number one, for me, it was when I was getting into the modeling and acting industry. When I first jumped in, it was something really fun that I did in high school, and I took it into college. It was something really fun I did in college while I was getting my English degree. And then I decided I'm going to move to New York, do Shakespeare for the rest of my life. I went to a school called Hunter College, great school. It wasn't Juilliard. It wasn't the Actors Studio. It was a great school, but it wasn't anything that really propelled me. So I think that was one of my first mistakes. Although, again, it wasn't Hunter College, it was my mindset. I thought that was going to propel me, and it didn't, because I wasn't propelling myself. So I could go into the whole like kit and caboodle shebang about my acting not career. But one day I was just like, I'm done. I think I've learned enough from this area of my life, and I think it's time to jump forward and jump out and do something different. But I learned so much while being in that industry. Now, taking what I learned from that and moving forward from that has been instrumental in my growth. But that's one thing that I can definitely say that I failed at, not negatively. I use everything that I learned in those industries, and I've moved forward from there.
So number two would be Duck Donuts, which we know well. Sophia laughs at that, and she squashed the idea, and it's a good reason. So it's a great franchise, a great place that opened up down in the Carolinas, right? So dynamic donut shop where they actually prepare the donuts, and you can literally on site. They put put the donuts in, come out, and you can just topping it. They have a bunch of different toppings, and you can either get the set ones they suggest or just make your own, right? Dynamic place. And ultimately I was saying this would fit great in this area, and we had too many things going on, and people said, we just have too many things going on, it's not the right time. And I didn't, and a month later, someone opened one up in a shopping center here, and I was like, man, that was an opportunity. But looking forward 2 or 3 years, I saw another one looking to be sold, and I was looking through the numbers, and it didn't look like they were maximized on it, but from where we were going with our direction, it wasn't going to be the right fit, right? So the scalability of it, you need to have a number of these different shops that can feed into one, right? Because your margins can be slimmer. You also have, you have your constant costs are going to be there. So people come into donuts or not, you have to have that set up. You have to have, your goods that are going to stay for so much. You have to have people making the donuts. You're going to have those margins that are on top of that. And from that, it's not a business that you could do with a couple of people. You need maybe one operator here, because there's just not going to be enough for you to sustain that business. From what I saw from where it is now. Now, I'm sure there's different models that work very well and they crush it, but from where we were going in our direction, it was going to be something that, although it might have been awesome and the kids could have all the donuts they want, if it's not fitting into the big picture, it's not fitting into the big mix, then you're missing out on using that energy for where your core business is. You might have 10 different things that are cool opportunities, but if there can't be some crossover, you don't have enough time to be you within all of those opportunities.
Yes. So number three, because I can say more about Duck Donuts.
Sure.
But number three, I once had a berry farm. A very fun berry farm. My partner at the time, we grow this indigenous berry that only grows in Hawaii. And it was going to be this great thing because we're going to make jam and we're going to do all this other stuff. But I realized going into it that it wasn't something I actually wanted to do. I was just following the lead of someone else. But it was just like put into my mind, this is a great idea. Let's put our money into it. Let's put our time into it. Let's just do it, get it going. And that's why going into the future, again, a failure is only a failure if you don't learn from it. So what I learned about myself is that I have to because I have all these great ideas that come up, and Jason has all these ideas that come up, and I have to be sound with myself and sound in who I am and what I want to do and what I want to present to the world, and coming back to what I actually want. And whenever an idea comes up, if it's something that I don't want, then there's no way I'm going to be able to put my time and energy and passion behind it 100%. So that business failed because I wasn't behind the business 100%. Although it was really cool and I worked really hard in it, that's all it became, was kind of hard work. So when you're going into something different, when you're going into a new business, make sure you're going into it because it's part of you. There's a passion to it. It's great that if it makes you money, but don't do it for the money because that won't sustain you. What will sustain you is your passion.
Yeah, I love that. Number 4, we can go so many directions, right? Yeah. I guess I'll say our flipping wholesaling business.
Yeah. We're really good at it, by the way. We're really good.
We're really good. And what we found is that we kept just not following the system, right? And so many times we want to always find the better way, right? But sometimes if there's a model there, use that model to your advantage and build upon the model. But instead of that, we kept getting in the way by inputting ourselves into the process in places where we shouldn't be. And that hurt the process. So we weren't able to use that to scale right, to follow the protocol, to follow the steps that we've seen other people do time and time again. And so ultimately why, we knew and we had good successes in it. We moved out of there because we weren't learning the lessons in the way they should be learned.
But we did learn the lessons, because think about this. For some reason, it did not work. It did not work for flipping and wholesaling. Those lessons, those systemized things.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you finish it.
Well, but we were able to use that as we moved into multifamily.
Yes.
Because you get to a point that, sometimes I have the uncanny ability to involve myself in ways that I shouldn't need to, and I should let the team handle it if it's here, right? Because it's easy to get to, it's easy to be involved. But you start investing, 1,000 miles away, either you do it poorly or you do what we did and we set up massive systems, protocols, checklists, and accountability, and really had a group interactive where we could let the group perform and achieve their highest level and do what they're supposed to be doing and do it on the highest platform. When you do that and you build that team, that model becomes scalable because you can use that team to do more instead of you being basically the linchpin holding it all together.
And that is the why. That's the reason why we want to talk about this, because so much we talk about our failures, all these businesses that we started and stopped and didn't do, but think about them as stepping stones.
Yeah.
If Jason and I just stopped and been like, oh, we're just failing at this, we've put in so much time and energy into acting, into modeling, into farming, into restaurant tour, because Jason has done restaurants and he has created an amazing brand in the brewing industry. But if we just stopped at the failures and we didn't learn from them, then where would we be? So we took all of that and we were able to put it into something that we both are passionate about and that we love to share with other people. And we've grown from that.
I love it. All right, what a great show.
Yeah.
So we will be back tomorrow.
Yes.
For Thursday.
With the best show ever.
Always. All right, guys.
Join us for your second cup of coffee every Monday through Friday at noon.
Live every day, bringing us our best content we've done so far. Super excited, super engaging, bunch of great guests. We're here to answer your questions, and we so appreciate you listening. Make sure to check us out.
Can't wait to see you.